What's up, YouTube? So, I want to come through and give my 2 cents on this whole pro-black YouTube baby mama, baby daddy drama that's going on. Y'all know who's involved. Y'all know who's involved. So, I'm not going to mention names in this video. And if you don't know who's involved, ask somebody. All right. So, let me just start off by saying that the pro-black community, at least very much on YouTube and probably just in general, is garbage. And water is wet. All right. Yeah. Also, another thing I want to start with: black men, as a collective, are trash, and black women, as a collective, are the trash can. Marinate on that for a minute, just a moment. Yeah. All right. So let me get into this. So I'm going to give a disclaimer and then I'm going to really get into it. All right. So here's the disclaimer. I'm going to try and do my best just to cut this down the middle and be even Steven about this. Okay. I have nothing against the people involved except the person who divulged the personal information. That was foul. And the person, I heard the excuse was that, oh, the person said that the future baby mama was bashing black men, or she's a anti-black men, or she's bashing black men, something like that. And I'm like, but wasn't you up there, ha-haing and kikiing with her on live streams together? Right? Didn't this person help introduce you to a new and bigger audience? Because I don't think anyone really knew you before you linked up with this person that you threw under the bus, right? And that really just goes to show you really do have to be careful about the people who you entertain and who you give, who you confide in and tell personal information in and trust. Honestly, I can make a whole video about that. That's a lesson for all of us. All right. That's why I kind of understand why, some people on YouTube tend to really just ride solo dolo, because, yeah, shit like this happens. Right. All right. And also, just in case this may pop off, you foreign black people, y'all just better shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear anything y'all got to say. All right. Because I know how some of y'all want to be too. All right. So you just worry about your shithole country that you come from, since you want to talk about folks and stuff in the black African American community and act like you so much better. Then just go back to your shithole country. And be better over there. Don't try to eat off and feed off of what, black American folks done built up over here. Because don't get it twisted. You only over here because of black Americans. Don't get it twisted because you saw a white man sign off on that paperwork down. All right. Just had to get that off my chest. All right. So now let's really get into it. This situation here. All right. First, just because it just seems like just because you know better doesn't necessarily mean you do better, right? Because usually the saying is, when you know better, you do better, right? But I feel like this female in the situation, she knew better. Based on the videos that she has released and the topics that she's talked about in her videos and the way that she refers to some men on YouTube and in the mainstream media, I was like, it seemed like she would be smart enough to know. Plus, she's like, 35 years into her life, from what I hear. Mid-30s at least. Somewhere along the lines. So, it's like, it's like, how did you get into this situation, right? You know, you're a little too old and a little too long in the tooth to be caught up in a situation like this, and now you on the baby mama host role, right? Looking like a fool. I hate to say it. And, I don't have anything against this female YouTuber. I have actually defended this female YouTuber. Believe it or not, the video's still up. Honestly, I may almost have rather she just had ended up being a swirler. Honestly. But then the whole pro-black platform would be completely washed away, right? And also, since we're here and talking about, baby mamas, baby daddies, and whatnot, I do kind of want to make a distinction between divorced mothers and single mothers. Okay, there's a difference, all right? And I think society views women who are divorced mothers versus single mothers differently. Y'all may not want to admit it, but I think people do. And as well, I think men who are looking for women to date and marry and, and or procreate with, that would be something that they would look at. Again, they may not admit it, but I think they would view the divorced mother a certain way, probably better than they would view the single mother, because there's a difference, right? The single mother was never married, right? She was, just, got caught up on the baby mama host role, right? While the divorced mom, she did get married. She did go through, kind of do it how you're supposed to do it, right? But the marriage just ended. And I think sometimes people try to merge the two together, but there is a difference, though, right? And also, I think at this point, this YouTuber, this female YouTuber, I think she better, email or tweet or Facebook or Instagram Sierra, and ask her to tell her the prayer that she said to get off the baby mama host role, right? Sierra gave black women on the baby mama host role hope. Really, let's be real. Like, even the mammy pick me mule chicks, was down for it, right? So, black women, I think as a unit for the most part, was down, and they wanted Sierra to get, the fairy tale happy ending, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We all need people, to lead, show us that things are possible, right? Just because you fuck up doesn't mean that you can't redeem yourself, right? But as far as how this is playing out on YouTube, I do see hypocrisy. That's pretty like a kind of like a big theme that I'm seeing on YouTube is hypocrisy. Okay, one, this female YouTuber who's pregnant is acting like this is the most ideal situation ever, and we all know that shit ain't true. We all know that shit ain't true. Also, if this situation happened to the women that she was beefing with, she would be using this type of information to clown them. Let's be real. Like, come on. And that's low-key kind of like how she kind of, I think, would try to get down at least. Because when she was beefing with this YouTuber, she was beefing with this YouTuber, a female YouTuber, black female YouTuber, who talks a lot about colorism. And I remember looking on one of her videos where she was talking about the female YouTuber who talks about colorism. And in the comment section, there was somebody in the, saying, oh, this YouTuber is, oh, she, that colorism YouTuber chick is fat and ugly. And then the future baby mama YouTuber gonna come through and say, do you have pictures? I'm like, really? So she was gonna try, if she was able to get pictures, she was gonna blast the pictures all over YouTube, right? But there was no pictures, obviously. And folks just saying shit just to say shit and acting like they know shit when they don't know shit. All right. Next, the man, the pro-black male YouTuber who got her pregnant, right? Supposed to be pro-black and thus pro-black family, right? But this dude is like on some low-key slave buck fuck shit. This really is some, like, I'm really trying not to judge folks, but this is like some low-key like slave buck shit. It seems like, not completely, but it's close enough, right? He, from what I hear, is involved in his kid's life at least. So at least he's not one of these dudes who just, creates the kids then leaves, But haven't we all heard about this like a ton of times, like in the media, where it's always like this guy, most of the time black, who has like 10 to 20 kids? I'm like, how did that happen? Like, what women were lining up for that? I guess some women were. But yeah, the dude who had like 1,001 kids by 1,001 baby mamas. And also, it's like, kind of like, what do you get out of it? I mean, I know a kid is nice and all, and I think that probably may have been a factor in this whole situation, was like, the biological clock ticking, like tick, 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 tick. Also, she's probably like the only person, of her siblings in her family who doesn't have a kid, So, more pressure, right? And I get it. But still, you could have, I think she could have did better. No shade, but I think she could have did better. And also, I kind of viewed her in a certain light of being able to do better. But, what do I know? And also, fuck that CDC study that's saying, like, oh, these black men are the most involved the most involved in their children's lives. I'm like, oh, who rigged this CDC study, Center of Disease Control study, which I don't even know why they're doing this study anyway. I don't really think this would be the study for them. I think it would be more about how those Negroes have pathogens and contagions and, spread them to black women and whatnot. I think that would be a more appropriate study for the CDC to conduct. But yeah, fuck that study, man. I'm like, really? And these, I ain't gonna say it, but these dudes, like, the ones who be on this whole, like, gender war bullshit, right? They be citing this study. Like, oh yeah, the CDC said this, that, and the third about black men being the best fathers in the universe, right? Yeah. And then they'll flip around and cite some study saying like, oh, 70% of black children are birthed out of wedlock. Or, black women have, 70% of black women who have children have them out of wedlock, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, that does reflect, poorly on black women, but it also reflects poorly on black men, too. It reflects poorly on the black community in general, to be honest, right? I mean, black men are the patriarchs, so, when other groups are on the outside looking at us, the black community, they're going to put the blame on black men because the men are usually kind of like in charge of like this type of stuff, not usually the women. But of course, we're in the black community, so the gender roles are reversed, and put, the black females are the patriarchs of the black community, really. The way that these niggas be carrying on, because anytime anything goes down, they try to blame it on either black women or white supremacy. One of the two. It's never like their fault, right? These unaccountable niggas, right? Who are dangerous. And I actually did a video about the unaccountable niggas too. Just like I did a video about the mammy pick me meal chicks, right? Those group of black men and women are dangerous to the black community and they need to be purged. But, the black community loves dysfunction, so that's not going to happen. In fact, dysfunction is normal. When you're functional, you're abnormal, you're a weirdo. You got issues if you're in the black community. You're looked at as you have the problem, not the other way around. Also there's hypocrisy on the black men and probably some black women who are blasting her and bashing her. But not so much the baby daddy, though, right? Not so much the slave buck, Negro, right? Because, they don't get it twisted. They clowning him too, but they ain't clowning him for the reasons that they should be clowning him, right? They ain't clowning him for being a slave buck or on some slave buck fuck shit, right? They're clowning him for being with that female YouTuber. And then we kind of get into this whole thing about, the quote-unquote educated lanes versus quote-unquote thugs, Pookie and Ray Rays, gangsters, whatnot, whatever you want to call them, right? And really, at this point, when things really go down, they're both kind of like different but the same. Kind of like different sides of the same coin, if you will, right? when shit like this goes down, yeah, it's pretty much different sides of the same coin, And as well, a message to black women. From what I see here, I don't think black men as a collective really want to see black women, quote unquote, do better. They don't want. I really don't think they want to see black women win. Let's be honest. No one does, by and large. Not even black women. Like, many black women don't even want to see black women win. These Negroes just want black women to shut the fuck up about black men. If you ain't calling them a black king, then they don't want to hear it. All right? And just a couple examples to talk about. Sierra, I mentioned her earlier in this video. When Sierra got caught up on a baby mama host role, with Future, it was like, well, that was her fault. But when she tried to make it right, with, getting with Russell and all that stuff, then it was like a lot of pushback, this, right? People ain't like that. Black men, educated lames, nor the thug gangster hood niggas didn't like it. No, none of them did. They didn't want to see a black woman redeem herself. Thankfully, I feel like the black women did, stand by Sierra and have her back during that situation for the most part. There are a couple of mammy pick me meal bitches in the mix, but for the most part, I think that the black women did have her back with that, as they should, And then, just recently, I think we had Future, that Fremont troll come through and say something like, oh, Russell's not a real man or something. I don't know what that was about because I didn't really dig into it, but I'm pretty sure if I have to guess, or if I had to guess, I think it was pretty much just about probably like him perhaps not being on the slave buck mentality bullshit train that Future is on. And also, like Sierra, I'm like, how you get caught up with that bullshit? That's the thing, too. it's like, I guess she didn't know better, but I don't know, right? Um, but she has been able to, fix the situation. So congratulations to her. And also, Russell Wilson was in the he was like in a get out situation, quote unquote, too. And I think he did better than that whole Solomon Grundy looking cave beast chick that he was with prior to Sierra. So I think Sierra was like an upgrade for him. So I think they both kind of won in different ways. You know, Future, the one, sitting in the corner and looking like the damn Fremont troll, looking like a damn sock puppet, just like a dirty, dreadhead, salty sock puppet. Not even a muppet. It's like a sock puppet. You know that raggedy ass sock that you have in your drawer that you can't find the other sock to, and then you're like, why do I even have this? That's Future. All right. And also, at least Sierra, at least she's getting a good child support check. At least that, I don't know about these other chicks out here, who ain't with like famous fuck niggas. Also, another person I want to talk about, Beyonce. I feel like she has done everything right, but instead of being held up and exalted as like, the pinnacle of a black queen, or what black women should use as an example, I just think she's ignored in situations like this, right? And again, that kind of speaks to, well, when the black women do the right thing, they're not really celebrated for it. They're not getting Black Queen trophies. Like these Negroes think they deserve Black King trophies all the damn time, just, for being a good father. Or, well, not even that. It's more like, oh, you took your child to the bus stop, or, oh, you bought your child a birthday present. And, black women will give out trophies for bullshit like that. Black women will give out Black King trophies for bullshit like that, to be honest. Because the bar is just set so low. It really is. It's embarrassing. And by the way, I'm not a Beyonce stan. I'm not a part of the Beehive. I find those people to be really annoying. But I just give credit where credit is due. And also, to be fair, I do think that Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship is pretty much like, almost like media invention at this point. Like, I don't know. The relationship at this point, I don't know, just seems kind of fake. I'm just saying. Like, they're in it just purely for the money at this point. Just because they got to do that old ratty ass Beyonce Jay-Z in concert tour shit and whatnot, and get to the money. And I know they get into a lot of money, so I ain't, they get into more money than I am, sure. They're doing something right, but still. And also, I think the whole Jay-Z cheating thing, again, when situations like this pop up and the black dude is doing wrong, then no one's going to really hold the black dude accountable, right? These same dudes that would hold Beyonce accountable would let Jay-Z slide again and again and again. We know how that goes, though, right? We know that. We know what that's about, right? Another person I want to talk about before I end this video, Serena Williams, right? And she would be I feel like she was a black woman who really did try to, tough it out and thug it out and try and get a, good black man to marry her and, have kids with. And she couldn't get it to pop off, all right? So then she decided to swirl, right? And we all know that black female swirlers are public enemy #1 in the black community, okay? Black men don't like them. Black women don't like them either. I think some black women will prefer man being swirlers black men being swirlers than black women being swirlers. I don't even know what that's about, right? They seem oftentimes more offended by that. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but I do notice some weird situations popping off over there with that. Because sometimes there's some black women, like perhaps this black female YouTuber who this video is about, perhaps, who kind of would go through a whole bunch of bullshit with black men just to say that they have a black man, while not even low key, while looking down and thumbing their nose at black women who swirl, right? Looking at them like, oh, how could you be a swirler? You're a sellout, a coon, a bedwench, all that type of shit, And then we have this whole argument of, well, black women need to tighten up, quote unquote, right? That argument, right? Need to lose the weight, get the hair in order, right? Either, grow your hair out and perm it or wear your natural hair, whatever. Just all these things, right? About how black women need to improve. But it's like, well, let's say black women do all this improvement, what do they get for it? What's the prize? Like, what's the prize? What's the award or reward? It's not like there's a ton of formidable black men for them. So what's the prize? Single motherhood? Poverty? Being on the baby mama hostro? Like, what? Like, come on. Like, I don't really think as a collective, black men are really offering much of a prize. And the way that is framed is as if the black men have all their shit together and they're just waiting for the black women to get their shit together. And as a collective, I really don't think that's true. I really think it's the opposite. I think that the black men as a collective have some bullshit that they need to work on too. But black women be letting these dudes get in their head and having them have low self-esteem and shit. And then these dudes don't really even be having much to offer. And at the same time, these dudes be looking like they belong on Animal Planet, belong in Zootopia and shit, and want to come at black women about shit. But again, that's black women's fault too, right? Well, I'm saying that is black women's fault. Not me being sarcastic, but that is black women's fault because they do, as a collective, hype up these same dudes who you hype up and they shit on you. So yes, that's your fault. So you have to hold that L. Because I don't see anybody hyping up basic, mediocre black women. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. If you do, please, feel free to enlighten me. All right? But I just don't see that. So I think I've said pretty much, all I have to say, at least the meat and potatoes of the whole situation. I think I did my best to just, not name names. Y'all know who I'm talking about, though. But just wanted to put my 2 cents in, get my 2 cents, because I do think this situation speaks to sort of like a big source of the dysfunction within the black community in general, which is relationships and children, where it comes down to, just, I don't know, black women and black men not being on the same page about a lot of situations and a lot of things. But I'm going to bring this video to a close. So thanks for watching. Feel free to comment and let me know what you think. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.